Right. Oh, maybe the angle's a bit off. Nah. Alright. I don't even know if this will end up on YouTube or if I'll just keep it private. But it's a lesson in trying to make up words in English, which is, as you can hear, not my maternal language, and a desire to help other people. Well, the trees are dropping big raindrops on the canvas of the tent, on the canopy of the tent. My desire to help others, where I've had help from the internet, from YouTube, and now I don't even know if the sound comes all the way to the camera, so we'll see what happens. Today I have lovely digestive cookies with some dime, it's chocolate and lemon cola, whatever it's called, caramel. I don't know. Hard. This up here is a tree tent. As you can see, you can sit below it if you want, away from raindrops. It's pretty good. It's good for sleeping, really good for sleeping. It's like a bouncy trampoline, hammock kind of thing. And this one's pretty large. It's good enough for two people, comfortably two people. If you have a child, you can be 2.5 regular sized people in it, but not 3. I would avoid that. And also the max load is 220 kilos or something, which isn't all that big considering many car tours, car campers have lard asses, whatever. But it isn't all too good when trying to cook a meal. Yes, you can sit under it, but if it's lots of mosquitoes, or if you have things you need to keep still and stable, like a food plate or something, this one, it kind of gathers everything in the middle. So I've ended up sleeping on my iPad, what's it called, Amazon book thingy, and everything kind of gets under you in the middle, which isn't all that good if you have, I don't know, sensitive phone and a hard ass, whatever. You need 3 comfortably large trees, at a comfortable spacing in between them. I always find something, but it's not perfect every time. But ideally you would want a nice place under the tent, put it high enough, and if everything goes terribly wrong, you would like to land, soft enough or flat enough to not hurt yourself. So that leaves you with fewer options than you would think. In Sweden, usually there's trees everywhere, so not a big problem as far as I've biked. But up in the north, in the mountain regions, you'll probably have a bit of a problem. Well, you will. But I wouldn't take this tent there anyway, because the wind kind of sweeps through it, which is nice in hot summer nights, but not if it's 0 degrees outside. And what more? Well, I bought this Trangia thingy, which I've never used before. It took like 30 seconds of effort and one try, and it worked. I'm pretty impressed. I have one of these twig ovens, or whatever it's called, a little construction of metal that you just put twigs in and you light up. It takes equal amount of time, but everything gets quite sooty. You can see here that I've used it before. Well, and there's soot on your hands and everything gets pretty dirty. So I've opted for this instead, and we'll see how it goes. So far so good. The way I came here is by bike. Here is a reservoir lake. It used to be a lake, but they raised it a bit. I think not more than 3-4 meters or something. But it's quite nice. Yesterday when I arrived, I had 22 degrees in the water. Bit of a breeze and the clouds started moving in. I didn't think at the time it was a front, but I knew from the weather forecast that today was going to be a rainy day and tomorrow as well. So I thought, okay, I'll stay at a nice place. And Google Maps showed me the right kind of environment around the lake. So even though the bike ride up here was pretty intense, I was quite tired after 4 hours in the saddle and lots of luggage. I'll show you later. And well, it was a good bet. Google Maps can show you a lot of things, but I tried a place before this yesterday and I failed miserably, because what Google Maps didn't show me were all the cattle bulls in the field just before the water at another lake, just some 20-30 kilometers from here. Because I was trying to make a short day yesterday and stay in the sun and maybe have my clothing washed and whatnot, but didn't turn out that way, so I'll have my sour undies another day. Now you know. The bike, the gear, the setup. I've tried bike packing, which is when you put bags on your bike, but I don't seem to get everything I want with me, or at least not in the space and order I want. Because if I spread out everything, I can't really find stuff, and in the dark or wherever you are, if you're facing heavy downfall, rain, in a matter of minutes, you need to know exactly where your gear is. And I wasn't comfortable after only trying 4 or 5 times with my bike bags, which were specially ordered for the bike. So I bought something called the Extra Wheel from a Polish producer called the Extra Wheel. And it's quite pricey, but you get to bring more or less everything you need without without struggling, without making the bike struggle, because my bike, the one I have, is a carbon fiber Ibis Hakka, only weighing in about 8 kilos without the baggage, of course, and it doesn't have any good rack mounts of any sort. And I communicated with Ibis, and they're really good with communication. Just that is worth buying those bikes, actually. I have no sponsorship, so don't worry about that. So they told me this bike and frame is just 1 kilo. You shouldn't put any stress where it's not supposed to be. That means don't mount any rack panniers on the frame anywhere or anything like that. So I mounted something on the rear wheel axle instead, and I'll show you. Here's the extra wheel setup. It's a wheel and 2 bags and kind of a double fork, specially made by them to fit the bag. And here you just pull these out and it comes loose, and it hasn't come loose so far. These bags hold up to 45 liters each, so I have 90 liters of packing space roughly, because they're quite hard on the inside, so they don't bulge very much. Now they've been out in the rain, so they're a little saggy because everything's there in the tent. And well, you can see this place, it's pretty nice, although a rainy day today. And here's my bike gear setup with a front bag, 2 really nicely insulated water bottle bags, a frame bag, and this behind the saddle bag thingy. So this should be enough really for myself moving just a few days or something like that. But being able to cope with weather, that means down jacket, of course, in Sweden. And now I've even brought my fiance's stuff, her sleeping bag and everything. So, well, quite a lot of baggage. You can inspect those. These are locks you lock into place or lock out. If you want to lift the bag, just do this and you can lift it up. So it's quite secured when you're traveling. I put this light on, but it comes original with a little flag to, well, warn other motorists. And that's it, really. Regarding the handling of the bag, the bike trolley, I could say it's a real surprise to me how wobbly it was, actually at all speeds. It can be a bit because of the bike, it's all carbon, everything here is carbon, and it's quite springy, or whatever the word is, so it might help the whole thing to wobble a bit. And also this part is really light and this part is really heavy, and obviously if you're packing gear high up and further back, you're gonna have more of a wobbling experience. For all of you motorcycle riders out there, I mean, you know that you want to have a tank bag instead of a rear bag high up if you want to drive sportif, motorcycle sportif. Well, with the bike, I'm really happy with the bike. As I said before, 8 kilos of pure joy. It's handling really good on gravel and road. I mean, yeah, I don't think I even need my road bike if I'm going alone on the road anymore. With the group, yes, you need all the gears. This has got 11 gears with just one front cog whatever you call that, and it's quite enough for me. With the luggage here, I would need 1 or 2 smaller gears actually, because when you're tired at the end of the day, the last uphill, it really gets to you that you can never have enough gears uphill. But pedaling full speed, I can do about 50k probably downhill, even with this, which I wouldn't, because once you get into the wobble, it's kind of unpredictable, so you just need to ignore it and it'll stop. It's not a, how do you say, a high frequency wobble. It's you go to one side and then you parry that and it veers off to the other, so it could be quite dangerous, I suppose, but it's mostly while pedaling. But I can feel the forces in the rear actually steering me, going at any speed from 10 kilometers an hour and upwards. So I'm not really happy with the way it's handling. I probably need a much heavier bike, like a touring bike with some heavy panniers on, or even front panniers, and that'll probably stabilize the wobbling sensation. Well, let's have a look at the spot I chose. As I said before, this is a reservoir, and this is the way it looks. Someone a generation or so ago even put a springboard, and the water's pretty deep right away, so it's quite safe to jump from and easy to get up of. And the water, as I probably have mentioned, is today probably over 20 degrees. Oh, well, just about good enough, I'd say. So that's it for now. It's 14 degrees in the air, and here we are in the evening of Monday in July in Sweden. Over and out.